Welcome to part 2 of how to scrape Craigslist. I'm in Ubot Studio here and I want to be able to scrape now all of these sections, all of these headings, because we're going to incorporate that into our search user interface. I started off thinking, hey, let's just do this within Ubot Studio, and I ran across a few problems to start with. I've got both of these set up as just normal scrape attributes, and on this one we're going to scrapes the text, and was designed to get hold of the heading over here, just the text of it, and this one was designed to get a little bit more and to capture the whole inner HTML. So I was just using the scrape attribute technique, and when I ran that and I came back into the debugger over here, you'll notice that I had 162 items of one and 177 of the other. Now these headings are actually what we want, I think, in the main. We may not want these ones at the end, I'm not sure, but the point being is that there was a different number. And if you also go into the this list here, which is the URL, which is really important, you've got a load of artifacts going on over there. So I decided very quickly that I was going to abandon this and use a slightly more advanced technique of using Xpaths to scrape each individual section, and from after that use a little bit of regex to be able to extract the URL that we want. It doesn't take a lot longer, it just requires a little bit more knowledge. So that's what we're going to go and do. Now, going over to Craigslist here, I've identified and had a look at each of these elements and come to the conclusion that each of the ones that we want to scrape, if we just go highlight, say this one here, rooms wanted, they fundamentally all have something in common, which they all have. They're all hrefs and they all end in search. Oh, sorry, they all include search. And so just going into the Xpath generator over here, I came up with a very, very simple bit of Xpath, which was this. It contains, so it's an href that contains search. Alright, so you can just test that straight in, and it'll highlight pretty much everything that you want to get. Now that's pretty good because it's excluded discussion forums, which we won't want. The problem is it's excluded the same artifacts as before, which is all these numbers, all the calendar over here, which is what we saw in the other way. So how do we get rid of that so that it's only going to scrape the headings that we want? Well, there's a neat little technique that I'm going to show you now, which is we are going to use the user prefix. So what we're looking for now is that we're going to clear that, we're going to test clear that, and we're looking for a blue box, there it is, that only has one result, okay, and that is div ID center over there, okay, and we can, let's put that up there for a sec, that you can have this optional prefix over here, and we're going to go back and we're going to copy and paste into here the original one that we found. Now it doesn't actually automatically, if I go and test that, you're going to see it's still got the artifacts over here, the calendar, and we don't want that. This is just a sort of place to put things so that you can cut and paste them back into this box down here. But once you do so and you put that in as the prefix in front of these areas, and now you run it, you notice that it's got everything that you want without having scraped the calendar on the left. So that's the technique for doing that. So we're going to take that Xpath now and we're going to put that into the code generator in order to create a section list, and from that section list we're going to use regex in order to be able to get the URLs that we want. It doesn't take very long, this, by the way. So back in Dataharvest, we're going to go into the Ubot code generator and we're going to create a new one, and we're going to do something very rough and ready on this one, and we're going to just call it CL Craigslist because we're actually not going to necessarily keep this for very long. We've got the number of pages, which is one page, and we've got to put our URL in, and I'll put that in a sec. We're going to use the section technique, which is explained over here, and over there we're going to put in the single Xpath. Now you have to put in something in here as a list. It just requires, so we're just going to put that as URL, but we don't know what the regex of that is, so we're just going to put in something that is valid, relatively valid regex there, just to keep us going. And we are going to then just put in the Craigslist URL over there. There it is. I'm not even going to set anything else up here. I'm not even going to save it, because I'm just going to generate the code. All right, and copy that across, because this is a what I would call sort of a disposable piece of code. And then we're going to go into our Ubot Studio, and we'll just open up a new tab over there, and we will cut and paste that in there and go back to the node view. And we're just going to put a stop at the end of the point at which it scrapes the section that we want. So we're just going to scroll down to the beginning of the box here. We're going to stop the code there. All right, after the section, and then we're going to run it. Because what we're looking for is the scrape of all of those sections, and after a few seconds it's going to do that. And we're not even going to, we haven't created a file for this. We're going to go to the debugger over here, and we're going to see, there we go, we've got 137 of them. That's what we want, because it includes the href, so the URL, or most of it, which we can use to create the URL, and it also has the title, travel, over there. So press on the section, go up here, edit, and copy the section. And now we're going to go over and we're going to use the Ubot Studio's regex editor, which is behind this. There it is. And we're going to paste that into the regex editor. It comes with a section, which doesn't matter, we'll just get rid of that. And now we're looking to, we know there are 137 of them, well, that's a nice neat list. It's going to be very easy for us to just pick out this href over here, and it's going to be very easy for us to pick out that. So I'm just going to create the regex for that. Okay, I always start with 3 sets of brackets like this. This is where we're going to start capturing, this is the middle, and this is the end. Now the correct place to start capturing, I would guess, would be href if we're capturing the URL, so we'll put that there, and down the bottom we see got 137. That's exactly what we want. Now to capture everything from then to some other point, we use the dot star question mark. You'll notice we've still got 137, and if you use the forward arrow you can see the first instance of that is there. Now when are we going to stop capturing? We're going to stop actually, well, here's a little bit of a trick. If I go and say we're going to stop at question mark equals, that's when you want to say it's going to stop, and I put in the double inverted, I put the double quotes in there, well, it actually thinks that is the first one is where we should stop. So we should start putting in a little bit more there. If we put in exactly what it says, we're going to put in equals, then it goes to the equals, and then we're going to put in the quote marks again, and you're going to see now it considers the second set of quotes to be the first set, if you like, from which it captured at the beginning. Now we don't actually want href equals double quote mark. The way you start capturing after that is question mark is echelon that way equals. And now we can see that we've captured exactly what we want. Using exactly the same principle, there is the regex for capturing the name, starting at span class equals text, ending at this echelon over here, and you can see it's captured everything that we want in the middle. There we go, number 1, 2, and there are 137 of them. Going back to the Dataharvest Code Generator, we'll just fill out the missing blanks. We've got our pages, we've got our URL, we've got our Xpath here, we've got our 2 regexes that we've just worked out, and then down here we're just going to put the place where we're going to save that file. Once that's done, you can download a Ubot file, by the way, here. It will create one that can be run directly in Ubot, but I prefer the code generator. It's a little quicker and easier. Copy and paste that across to Ubot Studio and run it. Back to node view. Run the code. So going in and inspecting the results CSV in the Excel file, we see we've got exactly what we want. We've got the categories over here, we've got the URL, or at least we've got the URL that will be added to the end of the location URL from Craigslist. And that is the end of this second tutorial. Thank you for watching.